Hi, what would I do if I wanted to publish my book in 2025? Thanks for asking, friends. You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer, the traveling publisher. So if you have a book inside of you and you want to publish it, let's say next year, this is your action plan. Right now, in November, you need to be brainstorming, researching. For that, I mean, do a little research. What other books are out there? What kind of topic maybe has not been covered yet? What is your niche going to be? And analyze. By that, I mean analyze the competition. Check out what other companies have published books on this topic, what other authors, how are they doing? When did they come out? What do they look like? And most importantly, what can you do to make your book different and better? Next month in December, through about March, you're gonna write. The best way to do that, friends, is to imagine how long your book is going to be, work on the contents, get a sense of how many chapters, pages, sections that you have, then just simply do the math. You've got how many months between now through March, how many weeks, how many days. Test yourself. How much can you realistically write in a day, a week, a month, and then come up with a plan. Perhaps you have one chapter every other week to write. That doesn't sound like a terrible deadline. Another thing to do right now is research publishers. It's not too early to start thinking about that. Learn a little bit about publishing. What type of publisher are you looking for? Are you looking for a traditional deal, independent publisher like me? I'm at breakcommunications.net. Are you going to self-publish? And that, in my mind, means you're going to do it yourself. You're going to be like the general contractor for your book. You're going to be the person who finds the team, assembles a team, hires a team, manages the work. That's a lot. That's why sometimes independent publishing is a good idea, because while, yes, you're paying some money, you're also not doing all the work all on your lonesome. So that's going to keep you pretty busy, friends, from December through March. In April, I recommend starting to interview publishers and maybe agents. So once you've identified what type of publishing you want to go for, start to Google publishers near me, go to the library and check out books in your genre and see who published them. These are publishers who work in your genre, who are accustomed, are familiar, have connections, and find their website, reach out. Hey, I've got this book. I'd really love to talk about working with you. Start to get a sense and compare, maybe make a comparison chart of these different publishers. Also consider, if you wanted to self-publish, start to get a sense of what does that mean? How many things do you need to do? How many people do you need to hire? You need to hire a cover designer. You need to have an interior designer who does what we call the layout. You're going to want your book edited by a developmental editor, possibly also by a copy editor. You're going to need to get an ISBN and a Library of Congress number. You're going to need an account at ingramspark and Amazon, all these things. And so just get a sense of what the process is and start to assemble your team. If you're considering trying to get a traditional deal, you're also going to start to interview and look for agents. Most publishers don't want to talk to everyday folks. They want to work with agents. And so you're going to Google agents near me, agents who work in my genre. Another good place to find agents is look for books in your genre. Look on the acknowledgements page. Most authors thank their agent. So if you see a book that you enjoy by an author you admire, look and see who their agent was. And you could probably find their contact information and reach out. Hey, I've got a book idea. Are you taking new submissions? So next thing you want to start to do next year in May is select that publisher. If you're hiring someone, an independent publisher, also sometimes called customer service, or a hybrid publisher. A hybrid publisher is a publisher that shares costs and profits with their authors. Maybe it's 50-50, maybe it's 60-40. That means they're going to pay part of the budget. You're going to pay part of the budget. They're going to keep some of the profits. You're going to get some of the profits. One thing that's a little difficult about that is your money is passing through that company. And so you're not going to maybe get your money as quickly as you would if you worked with an independent publisher or if you did it yourself, when you'd be working directly with Amazon and ingramspark and they'd be paying you directly. So something to keep in mind. After that, friends, in June, I highly recommend doing some beta testing. So what that means is find some friends and family members who you value their opinion and ask them, hey, would you read an early copy of my book? Most people would be honored and flattered to give to help you and to give their opinion. Now, very important caveat: do not ask your curmudgeon uncle who doesn't like anything to beta read your book, because the last thing you want is for your dream to be crushed. ask the people who you know are, pretty kind and want to be supportive and help you. Consider, if you haven't joined a writing group, it's a good time to join a writing group. You're going to find eager beta readers there, and you might have the opportunity to help them as well. And wouldn't that be lovely? So that's a good place. After that, friends, in July, you've hopefully signed an agreement with your publisher. You've gotten all the information from your publisher. You've maybe given a little bit of a down payment on the process. You're gonna, with some trepidation perhaps, send your manuscript, your baby that you love, to the publisher who is going to edit your book. Now, as you're talking to publishers, you want to make sure that you're getting everything that you need. There's a couple different levels of editing. There's a high-level editing, often called developmental editing. That's looking to make sure, does your story or book make sense? Is it organized well? Does it flow? Does it leave unanswered questions? For example, if you're doing a nonfiction book and you tell people, take this herb. Well, did you tell them how much to take and when to take it? And how might happen if you take it? So that person is kind of looking at the big picture. If you're doing a work of nonfiction, they're looking to make sure you didn't have 4 people arrive to a restaurant and you forgot one along the way and the others left without them. Like, what is happening here? Or you're not referring to someone as a blonde in one chapter and a brunette in another. Another level of copy editing is copy editing. Another level of editing is copy editing. That's a person who's looking for the more finer points. Is everything spelled right? Is everything punctuated right? Is everything grammatically correct? And a little bit again, does it make sense? Does it flow? Is it consistent? So you want to make sure, for example, that you're not spelling the word gray with an A at one point and gray with an E at another point. This is also the person who makes sure your protagonist wasn't called John and midway through you changed it to Greg. So 2 levels of editing. Sometimes they're done by the same person, and if it's a very experienced person, that's actually probably okay. But you also be prepared, might be paying for 2 different people. After the person has edited, normally this is done in Microsoft Word using track changes mode so that the person's suggestions are in color. They're going to send that file to you so you can review and approve. So you can say, no, you know what, I don't want a comma there, or I really did want to spell gray with an E. You get to make sure, kind of like veto power over all those suggestions. You're going to return the file. They're going to process it. The next step, which is probably going to happen in August, is the publisher is going to design your book. And so probably before then, she's worked with you to do your cover. And you've gone a smashing cover, you've approved it, you love it completely. Now they're going to design the interior to match. It takes a couple weeks. It's designed in a program usually called InDesign, which means it's no longer in Microsoft Word. So your version is no longer the version anymore. It's in Microsoft, in InDesign. When they're done, they're going to send you a copy. And that is the next step, which is going to happen in September. In September, the publisher is going to proofread your book. And you, my friend, are going to review your book. And so what that means is the book has been designed. It looks like a real book, 2 pages side by side. They're going to send it to you, perhaps to print, or maybe they'll mail you a copy, or maybe you'll look on screen. I always recommend, though, printing it and looking on paper. We always catch more mistakes on paper. So print it out, read it on paper. You're going to read straight through, and you're going to be shocked that you're going to see things that you cannot believe you missed in manuscript stage. It's just the way it is. We catch more things on paper, and we catch more things when there's some time and space between reviews. Hopefully, and this is something to check, hopefully your publisher has a different person proofreading it than the person who edited it. That's because you want as many eyes as possible on your book, because every person has different skills, different talents, different things they catch. Sometimes people just assume that they know, like, surely that word is correct, and they don't look it up. And then the proofreader gets there, she's like, yeah, I don't think that's right. And she looks it up, and you realize it's wrong. So take your time, read carefully, mark all your changes. You're going to return your changes to the publisher. And then the next month, in October, the publisher is going to make those last changes and upload your book. And so she's going to take your changes that you turned in, the proofreader's changes that he or she turned in, any changes that she might have spotted, make them all to the files. She's going to send that to you again so you can review, make sure it's perfect, make any last changes, then upload it to your account, which is either going to be with probably ingramspark and or Amazon KDP. Friends, if you have any questions about any of these things, please leave a comment. I would love to answer your questions. Then in November, guess what? Your book is live on Amazon, orderable by stores, and in your hands. In your hands. So that's it, friends. That's pretty much the plan. If you have a solid book idea right now today inside of you and you are dreaming to have your book come to life, it's totally achievable to have it come out in 2025. So please, if you have questions for me, leave them in the comments. You can always find me at breakcommunications.net. And please like and subscribe for more, and hope to see you again. Thanks, friends. Bye-bye.